So I don't live in Indiana or Seattle right now. I am actually living in London for the next 4 months. So I don't have a tripod and I don't have my lighting, so I'm using natural lighting, and there's like people and cars and buses, and like I literally don't have half my stuff, but I still need to upload a video, so this is what we're working with. So before I moved to London for a semester, I knew I needed to film some videos so that they were edited and I could upload them. So that's what I did. I filmed a bunch of videos over my Christmas break, and I brought the footage to London with me, and I went to go edit, and the footage was deleted. Like, it was like corrupted, and the audio was like f***ed up, and like
video, then I would just contact the camera manufacturer.
So I lost literally 3 videos, and I had nothing, and like school started, and I was like, what the f*** am I supposed to do? So this is my second time filming this story time, but I really wanted to get something out for you guys, so hopefully you guys like it. I think it's a nuts story. I made sure to check with the person if it was okay if I uploaded this, and they said it was fine. So I'm gonna talk about it. It like slightly involves me, but it's more focused on somebody else. I was more of just kind of like a +1 in this story. So yeah, but it's a little crazy. I also wanted to film this story because I think it's kind of important to talk about, because even though it did happen a long time ago, it's something that like does happen, and I know that when I uploaded my stalker story time, I felt like I would like help like a couple people with my story, but I realized like how many people also shared a similar experience with me. So I kind of wanted to think about things that were a little more touchy to talk about, but they do happen. So before I start the story, I just want to say, like, if anyone is going through a similar situation or has gone through a similar situation to the story that I'm about to tell, you don't need to feel embarrassed. You are not alone. This does happen. Nobody really talks about this a lot. It's more of like a hush-hush kind of thing, but it does happen. It happened to one of my very close friends, and I witnessed it happening, and like, okay, so let's just get into the story. So the story happened my sophomore year of high school, but like all throughout high school we had to volunteer because you needed a certain amount of volunteer hours to graduate. And when you did your volunteering, you had like a supervisor, like whoever you were like basically volunteering for, and then they signed off that you did the hours, and then you submitted it to the school. And you had to have a certain amount every year so that they all totaled up to like the amount you needed to graduate. So one of my close friends was getting her volunteer hours from her old elementary school. She was like going in after school to go help one of her old teachers. I think he was like the 2nd grade teacher. Just kind of like clean up the classroom after school for the kids, and just like help out with whatever else cleaning stuff and like paperwork that he needed help with. And so I'm just gonna call my friend Jess. Okay. So Jess would always say to come volunteer with her after school at her old elementary school, because she was like, it's super easy, like it's really quick, you just kind of clean up and like help out and everything, and like you get to hang out with me also. But like her elementary school is kind of out of the way for me, so I was like, no, like I get my service hours from like somewhere else, but like thanks. So yeah, so I just like, I didn't ever go and volunteer with her. But my friend, I hate coming up with names, Lauren. My friend Lauren ended up going and volunteering with Jess, because Lauren, Jess, and I were like pretty close friends, and so Lauren and Jess went to go volunteer at the elementary school. I did not, and they both just said it was like really easy, and they like got to hang out with each other kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, that sounds fun, but I just like never ended up doing it. So Jess turned 16, and the teacher that I'm just gonna call Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, when Jess turned 16, gave Jess a birthday present, and like we didn't think anything of it, like she volunteered for him, but like it also was her old like elementary school teacher, so I was like, okay, like that's not weird. But it was like, I think it was like a magazine and like perfume or something, or like perfume sample or something. It wasn't a big like extravagant gift, but like he did like give her a birthday gift when she turned 16. Nothing was like suspicious. Like this was like her old teacher. Everything seemed fine. Like nothing seemed weird. So then Jess, Lauren, and I all did like a debate team thing. Like we didn't participate, but we liked going because you could like socialize with the other high schools near us. So we went to the debate team events. There was like 2 a year. So me and Jess and Lauren would just like hang out. And so we're just hanging out this debate thing. And Jess gets a text from Mr. Smith, and he's like, I can't get the idea of you sitting on someone's face out of my head. And right, like weird. So me and Lauren were like, okay, what the f does that even mean, dude? Like, cause she immediately was like, look at this text I just got, like what the hell? And me and Lauren were like, that's a f***ing red flag. Like that's weird. He's a grown man. Like he knows what that means. Like the f. But Jess was like, no, it's like not weird at all. She was like, the kids have these little seats that have like smiley faces on them, and I was like helping picking them up, but also like then when I had to do other work, I used one of them and like sat down on it, and so like I was sitting on this like smiley face seat that like the kids use, and I was like, okay, but like he knows what that means. Like, and Jess just kind of played it off as like, no, like I don't think he meant it like that. I think he just meant like a joke, but like I don't think he meant it like sexually, like anything. And me and Lauren were like, okay. So I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy it, but Jess was like, no, it's not weird at all, like it doesn't really matter. I don't think he meant it like that. And this was like the first weird instance behind like the birthday gift, but that wasn't even that weird. So we were like, okay, maybe she's right, whatever. And like Lauren had gone in to volunteer with her, and she was like, it's not weird at all, like the guy seems normal. So yeah. So back in high school, Ask FM was a really big thing. And if you don't know what Ask FM was, it was kind of like Yik Yak, kind of. But it was just like this website that like people just used to essentially bully other people, and you had like your page, and like you could either like click anonymous or like not be anonymous, and like all it was just like ask me questions, but people just used it to be like, you stupid ugly bitch, and then click anonymous, and then you get this message and you're like, why? So yeah, it was a really mean website, but people would use it just to like with each other. Like, so one day Jess came to school and she was like, guys, like I'm getting these weird ass messages on Ask FM. And we were like, okay, but like what's new? Like what do you mean, like why are they so weird? And she's like, no, like they're just really weird. Like, so I have some of the messages like still saved and like screenshotted, but I don't have all of them, but I like remember most of them. The first one started and it was like, have you ever crushed on a guy much older than you? And that's not that weird, but they just like started there and like kept progressing and getting weirder and weirder. So then the next question was like, how much older is the guy you're crushing on? Then it was like, which do you prefer, a young, inexperienced guy or an older, seasoned fella? Does this sort of thing matter to you? And like, she was like, why does somebody keep like pushing this? Like she had gotten like 3 back-to-back questions about being like, do you like older guys? And she was like, the f. So we were like, somebody's probably just messing with you. She's like, these are kind of weird, but like, it's not that big of a deal. Like they seem kind of harmless right now. So then I remember Jess coming in and saying that she got a message, and it was like, I care if I think I'm the older guy you have a crush on and my name isn't Daddy. So yeah, still weird, but like not that odd for Ask FM. Like me and Lauren just thought some stupid boy was like messing with Jess. So then it was starting to get like too weird, and so then she got a message and it was like, if like this is to happen, then like your real daddy can't find out. Like just more questions about like how old is too old, like have you found out who your secret admirer is yet, like blah blah. Then she started getting questions that were like, post a picture in like pigtails. Like that was really weird, like post a picture in pigtails. And then the other one was like, I really want to be your daddy or something like that, but like not the kind of daddy that you like, just weird shit, like back to back to back. And this, she had gotten like 12 messages at this point, and Jess was like, I have no idea what's going on. And so then me and Lauren were like, okay, this is getting annoying, because haha, like the first couple ones, daddy jokes, but like now it's getting kind of weird, and especially when they were like asking for pictures of like pigtails and stuff. And so then the last question that she got, you have my number. After they asked like if you need more clues about who your secret admirer is, they were like, you have my number, why haven't you texted me? So me, Lauren, and Jess were like, okay, this is somebody that we know. And so we were like trying to think of people. So Jess, Lauren, and I, and then Lauren's boyfriend, we all got onto Skype. And we were talking, we were like, okay, who could this be? Like whose creepy ass could this be? So we started thinking, and then she got another message while we were on Skype, and it was like, if you text the person who you think it is, like Lolita, if it's the right person, they'll respond to Bakov. And me and Lauren were like, okay, this is creepy as because that book is like, okay, so I basically just went on a rant about this book, and you just don't want to listen to it, so I'm just gonna spare you and cut it out. But that's basically, yeah, the book is creepy as shit. So it's just basically this like fetishized romantic relationship and intimate relationship between like illegal age gaps. And so Lauren had read the book and she was like, that's f***ing weird. And like, I think that's why she explained to me like how weird that was. So I was like, yeah, this is starting to get f***ing odd. So I kind of as a joke, but also like I was still skep about that whole message that Jess had gotten while we were at the debate thing. And I was like, hey, you know who you should message? And she was like, who? And I was like, you should message Mr. Smith. And Jess was like, no, like I'm not doing that. Like I'm not messaging Mr. Smith, like that's fucking weird. And we were like, well, why not? Like it's the name of a book. So worst scenario is like he just replies and he's like, what are you talking about? And you're like, oh, never mind, sorry. And just be like, wrong person. So Jess was kind of hesitant, but then Lauren was like, yeah, it's actually like there's nothing that could really go that bad. Like if he just like doesn't understand why you texted him, just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I texted the wrong person. So Jess caved and she was like, okay, fine, I'll text Mr. Smith Lolita. And we're sitting on Skype. You know where this is going. So we're sitting on Skype and she texts Mr. Smith Lolita, and like literally 30 seconds later, she gets a message back from Mr. Smith, and he goes, Nabokov, it took you long enough to figure out. Dude, when I say I nearly shit myself, I nearly shit myself. Like me and Lauren and Lauren's boyfriend were like, holy shit, like this is so bad. Like this is now gone from like an idiot teenage boy just like going too far with a joke to like criminal charges. And I was like, what the is going on? So, and also I was freaking out because like I contemplated going in and like volunteering for this person, and then also Lauren actually had gone, and so like two close underage girls had like gone and volunteered for this like creepy ass dude multiple times after school to get volunteers hours, and they were like alone in his classroom. Yeah, it just like it made me feel really scared of like what could have happened. So I remember Jess replied and she was like, you're married and you have kids. Yeah, so the guy was married and he had kids, and like he was like 30 years old, I think. Like, and like Jess had just turned 16. And he replied and he was like, you're just so tempting, can I have a little fun? And Jess was like, what the like it actually felt like we were not in real life. I was like, this is not happening. This isn't happening. No, this isn't happening. So we were like, what do we do? What do we do? And me and Lauren's boyfriend were like, you need to go tell your parents, like immediately. Like you can't go back into the guy's classroom. You have to go tell somebody. Like this guy works with kids also and has children. Like you don't know how actually bad this is. So you need to go tell somebody. And she's like, no, like this is why I want to tell the story. She just felt very embarrassed, and I felt very bad because like she didn't literally do anything wrong. Like she didn't do anything wrong, and like she just felt really bad. She was like, he's gonna lose his job because of me, and like he's gonna get in a lot of trouble because of me, and like blah blah blah. And I was like, it's not literally anything to do with you. Like you literally did nothing. This was all on his own terms and like volition, and like he's an adult and like he knows this is wrong, and like the fact that he found your Ask FM in the first place is weird as shit. She just like felt like it was her fault that he was getting in trouble, and I was like, no, it is his fault. Like this creepy dude did all this. You didn't do anything. So she ended up telling her parents, and it ended up going to the police and then getting investigated. And so I would put in the like whole, because it ended up on the news. I would put like the news thing in, but I don't want to like expose what school and like what neighborhood and like blah blah blah, and like it says her birthday and everything, and so like I just would like rather keep this anonymous. But yeah, it did go to the police. He ended up losing his job. I don't know what the happened to his marriage, but he ended up going to jail for a period of time, and Jess just like felt very bad. But and like also like before she went to her parents, like he kept pushing it too. Like I remember she definitely texted him and was like, this makes me very uncomfortable, like why are you doing this? And he was like, I like you so much, and like you're just so sweet and innocent, like creepy. So it was investigated. I don't think anything else worse came out of it besides the dude ending up ruining his life kind of thing. But yeah, so then unfortunately, because this guy was Jess and Lauren's supervisor for their volunteering and he went to jail, he like couldn't sign off that like they did their volunteering, and so they had to like go to the school and like explain that like their like volunteer supervisor was like a pedo and like he's now in jail, and so he can't verify the hours, but they actually did go in to volunteer for this guy, and like just whole disaster because like they needed to get their hours to graduate. And like, oh, and also the only reason that he got in trouble was because in the state of Washington the age of consent is 16, not 18. So this all started unraveling. This is also how creepy this is, because this was like, it felt like it was pre-planned. And like this guy had known Jess since she was like in 2nd grade. So when she turned 16, he gave her the present, and then that's kind of when the Ask FM messages started, and like when stuff started going downhill. But like nothing happened prior to Jess's 16th birthday. Like she was given the gift and then stuff started like, so it was very premeditated, very planned. Like he knew what he wanted. It was not like, oops, like I sent you one. Like, no, this dude was creepy. Yeah, so he didn't get in trouble for being like her being underage because she technically was 16. She did get in trouble, or he did get in trouble because he was like in a position of power or something like that. But yeah, and then also him being like a teacher and like that kind of stuff. But yeah, that is the story of how we got this creepy pedophile teacher literally put into jail. And I mean, I hope this was like entertaining, but I also hope, again, if you are going through anything like this, if somebody is making you feel uncomfortable, please trust your instincts. Like some people are so weird. Yeah, you're not being overly paranoid by being like something just feels off. Like you know when something feels off, and like I knew from that initial text. I was like, I don't care how many times Jess tells me that like, oh, it's not like that. Like it was like that. I just got that kind of like weird feeling. I was like, no, dog. Like he's an adult. He knows. But like I want to let you do your thing. But yeah, this stuff, it does happen, and it's scary. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I'm sorry for this like jank ass setup, being like I don't have a tripod and like I'm filming in front of a window and like the lighting is completely different now. I'm gonna try to get that figured out and sorted out, but yeah. But anyways, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Click the subscribe button down below, and if you haven't done it, click the notification bell so you get notified every single time that I upload a new video. So I think that is it, and I will see you guys next time.
Broke out my gown, I ain't go to club. I'd rather die before I come